Welcome, everyone. I'm Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, representing the 13th District, and I'd like to welcome you to my 68th Councilmember in Your Corner. In this edition, I am super excited to feature organizations who are on the ground every day, fulfilling a passion of mine, and I've had the great pleasure of working with most of them and many beyond today. They're helping residents in need feed their families during this time of significant food insecurity. Since taking office in 2013, I've made it a priority to go door to door in every neighborhood in the 13th District on a regular basis. It's more important now than ever to bring City Hall directly to your door, now virtually, offering services and introducing residents to the people in your city government and our partners who make things happen for you every day. I am thankful to our city departments, community organizations, Channel 35 studios for partnering with me to bring you this 10th virtual Councilmember in Your Corner. But before we get started and introduce these incredible guests I have today, I have a few important announcements. This morning at 8 a.m., I launched the second round of my office's Small Business Emergency Grant Program, which will provide grants of $5,000 to struggling small businesses within the 13th District. Many small businesses are barely hanging on due to the coronavirus pandemic, and this second round of financial assistance will help even more businesses pay bills, retain workers, and give a little boost to our local economy. We first rolled this out last summer, and dozens of businesses were able to take advantage of it, but now we want to spread the love even further and help more businesses. We've also made important changes and relaxed certain requirements, including the application process, increasing the annual revenue cap from $1 million to $5 million, allowing a wider swath of businesses to apply for this second round. Again, the application period opened this morning, and businesses within the 13th District only can apply until next Thursday, February 4th at 5 p.m. A link to the application is available in the comments section of the broadcast. Next, let's talk about COVID-19 and the vaccination process. Governor Newsom has lifted the regional stay-at-home orders across the state. This means Los Angeles will return to the purple tier of the state's reopening process. Although the most restrictive, this tier allows for outdoor dining and other non-essential business activities like hair and nail salons to resume. Los Angeles restaurants are permitted to reopen starting tomorrow for outdoor dining. This slight relaxation in rules does not mean we're out of the woods by any measure, nor can we forego the proper precautions: wearing a mask, washing your hands, avoiding large indoor or outdoor gatherings with people outside of your household, and practicing social distancing. LA County is still experiencing a high number of COVID-19 cases. Nearly 7,000 cases were reported yesterday, and our ICU capacity remains dangerously close to 0%. So be safe out there and take precautions. We must continue to do our part to manage this crisis. The distribution of vaccines has also begun in Southern California. I plan to dedicate my next Councilmember in Your Corner for an update on the vaccine rollout here in coordination with the LA County Department of Public Health so that they can answer any questions that you may have. With that, let's get into the show. Today is a departure in that we're focusing on the entire 13th District instead of just one specific neighborhood, and some of the amazing partners helping keep our most vulnerable residents fed. When the pandemic began and our economy shut down, I knew that our top priority in city leadership would be to help keep people housed and fed. Sadly, food insecurity, which was already a challenge pre-pandemic, has only gotten worse. According to a study from the USC Dornsife College's Public Exchange, more than 1 in 4 Los Angeles County households faced at least one instance of food insecurity between April and July of last year. Women and children, seniors, and low-income households have been impacted the most. The Los Angeles City Council has allocated funding and other policies to put food on the tables of our most vulnerable residents. Just one example, after the Safer at Home orders were implemented earlier last year, the city partnered with Los Angeles restaurants, hospitality businesses, and franchise taxi companies to create the Senior Meal Emergency Response Program to provide healthy and nutritious free meals delivered to older adults who are at greater risk of contracting COVID-19. I felt it was important to extend the program through the holiday season so that the 16,000 senior clients could continue having food delivered to their homes. This action also helped provide economic support to struggling restaurants that prepare the meals and taxi cab drivers that deliver the food. While initiatives like these are important, I am most thankful for the many community partners across the 13th District and the city who have stepped in to help. I remember the first participation that I was privileged to join in was the first week of April, and it was with the Dream Center over in Echo Park where we're handing out food. Since then, we've partnered with so many others, including the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council, the Hollywood Central District Neighborhood Council, on various food distribution efforts. Well, a few of our other partners here today are going to discuss this work and the resources they provide to help feed families in need. So joining us today are Jocelyn Duarte, the Executive Director of the Salvadoran American Leadership and Educational Fund, SALEF, Alex Ramirez, the Program Manager for LA MAS, Otan Nolasco, founder of Know Us Without You, and Diana Campos Jimenez, Operations Manager with the Los Angeles Community Garden Council. Also joining us from my staff is Marisol Rodriguez, my District Director. So let's start with you, Marisol. You've helped coordinate so much of this that's come out of our field office. What should residents know about the services, the other services that we offer on a day-to-day basis out of our district office?
Sure. Thank you, Councilman. Well, first off, I'm Marisol Rodriguez, and I'm District Director for the council member. And my job is to oversee field operations and supervise our field team. Our district office is located in Echo Park, and while we currently are not open for walk-in visitors, everyone can reach us via phone at 213-207-3015, Monday through Friday from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you will be connected with the appropriate staff member. We are currently scheduling one-on-one constituent calls and video chats by appointment, and some of the services that we offer are really working on quality of life matters with residents of the 13 districts by working with city departments to resolve constituent issues. These could be public safety issues, these could be food insecurity issues, this could be assistance with DWP or assistance with building and safety. Any quality of life matter, we're here to help. I want to thank our food distribution partners here today. This collaboration has helped put food on the table of hundreds of families in our district. We're very fortunate to work with each and every one of you. And we will talk a little bit more about our monthly food distribution, I'm sure. And please reach out to us to discuss how you can be connected with coordinating where you can receive food. If you have any need or questions pertaining to your community, contact our district office and we will schedule a time to speak. You can also reach me or any other member of our staff via email, which you can all find at our website at cd13.com.
Marisol, thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to Marisol and the entire district office staff. Just because we answer the phones from 9 to 5 every Monday through Friday, everyone needs to understand that my office works around the clock sometimes on weekends. Marisol herself taking supplies to our shelters that are temporarily housing people experiencing homelessness on the weekend, supplying snacks and food, cots. My team at the field office is exemplary, and I couldn't be more proud. An elected official is only as good as his or her team. So Marisol, thank you for your selflessness, and we are here to serve you. So, what I do now is introduce our first presenter. So, Jocelyn Duarte, the Executive Director of the Salvadoran American Leadership and Educational Fund. Salif has done incredible work to promote civic participation within the Salvadoran community, as well as other Latino communities in the entire United States. I've partnered with Salif on many initiatives since taking office. They've been leaning in to help our most vulnerable residents during the pandemic. And Jocelyn is probably going to tell you about a partnership that we've entered into that will last all of 2021. So, what more can you tell our viewers about Salif and your work to address food insecurity? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Mitchell Farrell, for having us on today so that we can share our programs and the wonderful work that we're doing to serve residents in the 13th District. I would like to start off by just sharing a little bit about Salif and the work that we've been doing for over 25 years, which is creating access to higher education through scholarships and also reimagining during a pandemic how we are going to serve communities that were going to be highly impacted, which we knew would be the immigrant community and communities of color. So as an organization, as leading this organization, I knew that our families back in March when we shut down originally, which is going to be about a year now, that our families were going to suffer and were already facing food insecurity and other economic challenges were going to be disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. So we created a food program. We expanded our food program that we had, and we are close to serving and have provided over $700,000 in food assistance throughout the city and county of Los Angeles. So we're very proud of that work. And so today I'm going to share with you the program that we have with CD13 residents. And we're going to go ahead and have a presentation for you all to share. Make sure everybody can see it. So thank you, Council Member, for always, looking to serve our most vulnerable communities. And what we really like about working with your office is that, like Marisol and everybody at your office, we have an approach that you come to the organizations that are doing the work and that know the community the best. And so we're always very thankful to partner with you. So we developed a food distribution program, stemming from our mission and our core values at Salif. We believe in empowering our community, and we're doing that through making sure that we are removing barriers and stigma around food insecurity and understanding that our community sees these issues in a different light. And so we want to make sure that we're connecting them to those resources. And we want to, come from a social justice standpoint to ensure that we're creating access for continuous food supplies for our communities. We know that, Los Angeles, and especially in District 13, you have a high population of immigrant communities. Los Angeles is home to over 1 million undocumented immigrants, and that, allows us to understand the complexities that come with accessing resources when it comes to language, when it comes to status. And we understand that a lot of our families are below the federal poverty level. And so we have to have that understanding to be able to know how to best serve our community. And so we knew that, like I mentioned before, that immigrant communities and communities of color would be disproportionately impacted by COVID. And so as a result, we knew that in District 13, you have about a little under 100,000 people that identify as being immigrants. And so that was very important for us to know. And so we have a breakdown of your district, which I'm sure you already know, but it's for people to understand how is it that we develop programs to ensure that we're being inclusive of all communities. So something very important to understand is who is facing food insecurity. So we knew that it's, women, Latino, low income. We knew that there was, an increase, right? When the pandemic hit, that there was, the age range of who would be, facing this insecurity. And we also knew that it would be children, families. And so we put all of this together to better understand how we could develop a program. And, now we know that there's a connection, right, with restaurants shutting down. Now that Governor Newsom has lifted the outdoor dining, we know that previously when we had the surge during the holidays, we had an unprecedented number of unemployment, which again contributes to the food insecurity. So our food program over with partnership with CD13 will allow us to serve around 1,800 community members, 1,800 families. We are serving 120 community members one time a month, the second Friday of the month. And you can find us at the district office. And the point of this program is obviously to get about approximately $30 to $40 worth of groceries, including fresh produce, and also really looking at the food that we are making available to our community members, making sure that it's healthy, that it's fresh produce, that it's culturally sensitive, and that we are providing quality food with dignity to our community members. And so we started this program back in November of 2020, and we will run this program till the end of 2021. So the goal again is to serve around 1,720 families in CD13. Very important, we go through a registration process, but it's also, the registration process is geared toward ensuring that we're connecting community members to other very important and critical resources as CalFresh or other food assistance programs. So Salif is working with DPSS to be able to register and identify families that can apply for food assistance programs. And so this allows us to, during our intake process, be able to connect, community members to these very needed resources. And there's a continuum of food. So we're not only serving them one time a month, but we're ensuring that they have access to other food assistance programs, and such as WIC or hot meals and things like that. Additionally to food resources, we're also making sure that we're connecting them to health resources, because it's very important that our families are staying healthy. So we really take a holistic approach on how is it that we connect community members to services. These are all of their dates that we'll be servicing community members. So we're very happy to be able to do that all throughout 2021. And, if people need information or how do they register to participate in this program, they can call or text the numbers here on the slide. And they can connect somebody via text or by phone. And we are lucky to be able to have Spanish-speaking staff that can support. And we also have support for Armenian community members. So we want to make sure that everybody, that we're reaching as many people as possible. If people are interested in donating to our food program, if you're able to donate $30, you're able to serve a family of 4 and be able to provide meals for at least 4 days. So if you want to donate and increase the amount of people that we serve and augment what we're doing with the council member, you can always visit us at salif.org and donate. And if you need information about other resources such as health, education, housing, you can always call us on our general number line, and that's also available there for you. And so we want to go ahead and thank you, council member, for your continued commitment to serving immigrant communities, families of color. And we're also thankful to partner with your staff in CD13 to serve the residents of your district.
Jocelyn, thank you so much, and thanks to your entire team there at Salif, the fine men and women who are mission-driven. It's a beautiful experience, so I invite folks to register so you can take advantage of these resources. So another partner in this monthly food distribution out of my field office, which is right there at Sunset and Lemoyne and Echo Park, is Sustainable Economic Enterprises of Los Angeles. And they do the farmers markets. They have one in Hollywood, one in Atwater Village, and one in Echo Park, very nearby where my field office is every Friday afternoon. So thanks again. Next, LA Mas is doing extraordinary work in Northeast Los Angeles. They've also been a key partner in our mission to keep families housed and fed during the pandemic. So joining us from LA Mas is Alex Ramirez, their program manager. Alex, please tell us about all the incredible things that LA Mas is doing.
Good morning, council member and everyone else in the audience. Thank you so much for inviting us here today. My name is Alex Ramirez. I'm a program manager at LA Mas, and I have a presentation to share with y'all as well. Give me 1 second. So as I mentioned, I'm here representing LA Mas. We're a local nonprofit organization based in Elysian Valley, serving Northeast LA, and our office is on Ripple and Clearwater Street. Our mission at LA Mas is to design and build initiatives that promote neighborhood resilience and elevate the agency of working class communities of color. In the past, we have developed community visioning projects like Futuro de Frogtown, and supported hyper-local knowledge hubs where residents shared resources in their neighborhood. We envision a Northeast LA where communities of color have equitable access to the power and resources needed to shape their futures. Last April, we started the Community Response Initiative in support of community leaders who were checking in on their neighbors to see how they could help during the shelter-in-place order. As we started calling residents and training volunteers, it became clear that food access was a main priority. So for the first few months, we provided groceries, face masks, and activity kits through a volunteer-led delivery service. Last September, we shifted our efforts towards a weekly food distribution called the Northeast LA Mercadito at the Elysian Valley Community Garden with the support of partner organizations like Food Forward and LA Compost. Every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m., we bring free fresh fruits and vegetables for all residents, no matter their housing or immigration status. The produce varies each week. So far, we have had over 26 varieties, including apples, tomatoes, onions, spinach, and much more. Families can come choose the amount and type of items that they prefer, and they can provide a cell phone number so that we can give them weekly notifications. Some highlights of our program include that the Northeast LA Mercadito has brought free fresh produce to our neighborhood for the last 5 months. We have reached over 600 families, mostly through word of mouth. We have translation and interpretation services available every week in Spanish, and we're working on Vietnamese, Cantonese, and Khmer. We also developed a decentralized food distribution system, which is supported by local food hub leaders. And all of our day of program logistics and distribution are 100% volunteer-led and supported. Every week, we support at least 150 families at the distribution site on Blake and Rich Street. All of these families are excited to have free fresh produce available in their neighborhood. And some of them are seniors who have shared that this feels safer than going to a grocery store right now. Most, if not all of these families also depend on this program as a way to save money every week so that they can spend on other expenses like rent and utility bills. And we support an additional more than 150 families through a decentralized food hub system. And 75% of those families are in Elysian Valley, and the rest are in Glassell Park, Cypress Park, Montecito Heights, Highland Park, among others. Our food hub leaders pick up the produce to distribute to 10 or more families, which has helped us double the amount of families that we serve every week. Our hope is to continue to grow these food hubs and support residents in sharing additional resources with each other, building off of our experience with the knowledge hubs a few years back. Every Friday, we serve more than 300 families, and we have a list of 600 participating families and growing in our program. We ran the program for the last 20 weeks, and we hope to continue throughout 2021. This is all possible thanks to the support of over 40 volunteers and 6 resident-led food hubs in Elysian Valley. Most of the people involved in the program have connections to our community. They live a few blocks away, or their parents live here, or they work nearby. We have also received logistical support from other businesses and local organizations like Landmark Global, which brings produce from the warehouse site, LA Works, which helps us with volunteer coordination, Acción Comunitaria distributes any surplus food, and EFRA Partners provides off-site amenities to our volunteers. Local community organizations help us spread the word, and of course, we've received a lot of support from all the amazing folks at Council District 13. We also receive additional donations that include bread, lima bean kits, reusable bags, coffee, and much more. If you'd like to learn more about our program, please visit www.mas.la/Nila Mercadito. If you would like to volunteer, please email us at community@mas.la, and please consider donating to support our work at www.mas.la. I also want to thank all of the community members who have trusted us in this process. Our community is strong, but we will need additional support and investment, especially now as COVID-19 cases continue to surge. And we continue to hear that food, rent relief, and employment opportunities are top priorities. We thank everyone at Council District 13 for their incredible support, which has allowed us to connect residents to much needed information on the programs and services that can support them. Thank you so much, Council Member, for having us today.
Oh, Alex, thank you. And thanks to all the volunteers and everyone at LA Mas for making this happen. You can expect that we will double down in our partnership as the pandemic, fingers crossed, starts coming to an end in 2021. You're doing incredible work there. Thank you so much for the presentation. Next, I'd like to introduce Oton Nolasco, a founder of Know Us Without You, a local nonprofit that provides food security to undocumented back-of-house restaurant workers who are the backbone of our hospitality industry. As a former restaurant operator myself, I know this is true. And when I heard about Know Us Without You, my office reached out to them because we wanted to lean in and support this incredible organization. And I've had the privilege of participating with them on a number of times, and I just couldn't be happier that Oton has joined us. And you know, this is something that we all passionately believe in your mission and the mission that we all share today. So joining us today is Oton Nolasco. Please take it away, Oton.
Thank you so much for having me, Councilmember O'Farrell. I appreciate everyone's time. It's great to sit and listen and learn to so many organizations that have been doing what we're doing now for so long. 25 years in the case of Selpa. Like, it's really inspiring to see our community take care of itself, and that's how we started this organization back in March of 2020. We're fairly new. We're in our 10th month as a nonprofit. My partner and I and a group of friends saw that there was a lot of crowdfunding, GoFundMes and various other crowdfundings going up for the front of the house restaurant workers, everyone that you see, the waiters, the bartenders, the hosts. And it seemed like everyone was asking for help at the same time because the pandemic shut down everyone's restaurants and bars. So we having worked, for the better part of a decade in Los Angeles in hospitality, we immediately thought of our friends and coworkers who were undocumented, the back of the house, the prep cooks, the people that wash dishes, that really are the unsung heroes of our industry. We thought about them and what was going to happen to their families. In speaking to about 10 families that we knew personally and had worked with very recently, we asked them some tough questions. How were they set up financially, which is never an easy subject to talk about with anyone. And there was a lot of disinformation. The shutdown, I think, caught everyone by surprise back in March. And a lot of our families thought that maybe we'd be closed for 2 weeks. So it's like, hey, I'll talk to the landlord. Might be a little bit late on rent, April 1st, but we'll be okay as long as it's not longer than, a week or two. And, we didn't have all the answers. And we were just trying to give them the worst case scenario. We didn't think that it was going to be a week or two. So with that, people started obviously freaking out and not knowing how they would, be able to pay their bills. Many of our families worked 2 to 3 jobs before this just to survive, to live the American dream, and whatever money was left over would get sent back home to Central America, to Mexico, and that would support the extended family there. What we realized right away was that we were going to have to do this ourselves because there was really nothing set up for the friends. We didn't have any resources to send them. So we took our own money. We went to a local restaurant supply store. We loaded up a 12-year-old truck, came back to our office in Boyle Heights, and started trying to figure out what type of aid food-wise we could give our friends. And in doing this, we realized that it wasn't just an individual. Maybe we had known, someone who was a dishwasher that we worked with, but that dishwasher had a husband and children. So it quickly evolved from helping a specific person that we knew to their entire family. My partner, Damian Diaz, actually treated it the correct way, like a business, and he costed out the food. And we spread all the food out on our conference table and figured out that for $33, we could feed a family of 4 for 1 week. And that was really the beginning, that first day. So we fed 10 families our first day. The next morning, we went and did the same thing. And by the third day, we were asking some of our friends and family for help. And many of those people work with us now volunteer-wise. So we were very fortunate to start another business as far as the nonprofit. We're formerly consultant, bar consultants in the hospitality industry. So we were fortunate in the sense that we had some infrastructure with a very small office that I'm in right now in Boyle Heights, and we were able to transform that into our food distribution center with the very generous help of several dozen friends in the industry. Everyone that we know and love has really helped us grow from feeding 30 families our first week back in March to now feeding over 1,500 families, or about 7,500 humans every week. We're doing this. We do food distributions 3 times a week. In addition to the food distributions, we have a contactless delivery system where we are utilizing volunteer delivery drivers that handle a route with 5 to 7 families. These families are our most at risk health-wise because of pre-existing conditions. Many of them have also had to either sell their vehicles through financial hardship or have had them repossessed. So we are getting all the food to them directly to their house, contactless, to try to mitigate the chances of spreading COVID. That is done 3 times a week. So there's only one day that we're not physically distributing food, and that's on Sunday, just to give everyone a rest. Other than that, the days that we're not distributing food, we are moving about 150,000 pounds of food in every week through our partners at Cisco, Vesta. We are purchasing 150,000 pounds of food. Every family gets a little over 100 pounds, and it's great because these are very high quality foods. We're fortunate to have very generous donors who are allowing us to buy restaurant grade produce and proteins and dairy, which is very important to us because although food security is our mission, upholding the dignity and having respect for these undocumented backup house workers who in the before times were the ones that would allocate, let's say produce, for example, that was nearest expiration date and going to send that to food banks. They are now recipients, and the majority of them have never taken any type of government aid. So for us, the biggest thing is awareness. We have a website. It's www.knowuswithoutyou.la. You can go on there and do a couple of things. You can, if you know anyone, you can refer them to us if they need assistance. We are serving, like I said, 1,500 families a week. They can apply directly for assistance. We do have a little bit of a lag time getting back to people to vet them. It is a very complicated personal process that my partner, Damian Diaz, handles himself. He is in communications with all 1,500 families every week. It's a very time-consuming process, but he is excellent at it. There's no one better for the job. You can also donate directly to us. And like I said, for $33, you can feed a family of 4 for 1 week. You can also apply to volunteer. Unfortunately, we do get a high demand for volunteers, but with COVID-19 raging out of control in Los Angeles, we're not accepting any new in-field or in-house volunteers. We have a very tight-knit group of 12 volunteer staff that are our former friends who are chefs, bartenders, brand managers, and we have all committed to staying in a bubble together. All we do is work and go home and repeat the process. So we do have a need for delivery drivers, and my partner Damon can speak to you about that. Other than that, we look forward to working with Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell. It's great having you in the field with us, and as well as going to your office distributing food. And we look forward to that again. And if anyone needs to get a hold of us, they can also contact us on our website, knowus.u.la. Thank you.
Otan, thank you so much. And I love what you said about the dignity. There's a culture in restaurant work, right? Especially back of house. And there's a dignity involved, and you're right. And I'm glad you conveyed that culture that a lot of these workers have never accepted public assistance. These are self-starting, prideful individuals who love a good day's work. And then their incomes just vanished. Many of them working more than one restaurant. So the fact that you all stepped in, you filled that void, is phenomenal. I couldn't be more proud to support this organization and work with all of you. And for anyone listening, if you want to see a top shelf operation, Otan and his colleagues are restaurant industry professionals. They know how to organize, and they are so efficient. It's kind of an amazing operation to witness. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Just really glad that you could join us today and tell us about Know Us Without You. For a final presenter, I'd like to introduce Diana Campos Jimenez, Operations Manager with Los Angeles Community Garden Council. Now, my office has been proud to work with them across the 13th District, and we're gearing up for another exciting partnership. I am such a believer in backyard gardening and community gardens, especially in densely populated neighborhoods where the majority of folks live in apartments, sometimes with not even a balcony to grow anything on. So community gardens in the 13th District and across the city are so important to help address food security. Plus, it's just healthy to be out there in the open air, digging in the dirt and growing something for your family. So without further ado, Diana, what can you tell us about your organization's work to bring more food resources to area residents?
Hi, thank you, Councilmember O'Farrell. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to speak more about our organization. So I also have a presentation to share and a little bit more about our organization. So just give me a minute while I share my screen. So I'm here to talk about community gardening in LA County and specifically CD13. So just a little bit of what we're going to cover. I'm going to share a little bit about Los Angeles Community Garden Council, the type of gardens we service, how you can start gardening today, what we've been doing gardening in time of COVID-19, visual garden tours, how to get involved, how to work through and maneuver through our website, and Gardens in CD13, because we want to give you guys a shout out, and how to follow us on social media. So just a little bit about us. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're founded in 1998. Our mission is to strengthen communities by building and supporting community gardens where every person in LA County can grow fresh fruit in their neighborhood. We are currently partnered with about 40 plus community gardens, and we offer workshops, gardening advice, and community organizing. And we also like to advocate for accessibility to affordable and healthy food. So the type of community gardens that we work with are your traditional community gardens with raised beds. There are approximately 125 in LA County. And right here, you'll see two that are located in CD13, the East Hollywood Community Garden and the Manzanita Community Garden. Next, we have educational gardens. These are mostly aimed to host workshops and just immediately target the community in this area. So right here we have an example. We have LA Green Grounds Learning Garden and a pollinator-friendly garden bed in another site. And last, we have urban farms. These are larger spaces that usually span anywhere from 20 to 20 feet, sometimes even more. And this really allows for families to grow an excess amount of one thing, or just partner with other neighbors and figure out how and what to grow. So the benefits of community gardens. So one, we're creating more green space in LA County. It encourages healthy lifestyles through diet and exercise, reduces household expenses. It teaches organic gardening skills, and people are able to share their best urban agricultural practices. It encourages cross-cultural and cross-generational relationships. It promotes social and economic justice. We've seen that it helps reduce crime in neighborhoods, and this is because the community comes together and just they look out for each other more. And we also see that it builds resilient communities. So how you can start gardening today: one, a willingness to get dirty. Have a raised bed or recycled container approximately 12 inches deep with drainage. You need good soil, access to water, at least 6 hours of sunlight each day, seeds, a planting. And we have a planting guide for Southern California on our website. So hence a planting guide for LA climate. We have some of the best climate, so we really can get away with growing almost anything here. And if you're still new, there's a UC Master Gardener helpline. So if you call this number, you can get some assistance and even someone to walk you through the whole gardening process. And when the pandemic started, we were trying to figure out how to best support our gardens. So first and foremost, encouraging our gardens to follow LA County public health guidelines and posting bilingual signage on our gardens for best practices. We also encouraged all our gardens to create hand washing stations, and unused garden beds have been used to now grow food for local food pantries or food banks. And we've also seen garden collaborating with other organizations to distribute food. For example, Elysian Valley Community Garden. Garden members stepping up responsibilities, either by helping our elder gardeners maintain their plots or just watering, weeding. We've seen an influx of people on our wait list for our community gardens and requests for basic gardening classes for beginners, as well as volunteers donating their time in our gardens, especially gardens in need. Oh, I apologize. That's a video. So we've also seen folks wanting to just get a look at our garden. So I invite you to visit our YouTube channel. We have a couple of virtual garden tours. This one, for example, that started playing is the Fountain Community Garden that's located in CD13. I won't play because it's a little lengthy, so please visit our YouTube page. And how to get involved. So visit our website, www.lagardencouncil.org, to find a community garden near you and rent a plot. There's also volunteer opportunities on our website and how to attend upcoming events at community gardens. Some gardens might have postponed some events and have gone to virtual events, so just look out for that. And another thing to become involved is becoming a Master Gardener. The UC Master Gardener program is an incredible resource, and if you go through the process of becoming a UC Master Gardener, we can always use Master Gardeners at our community gardens. You can also sign up for our monthly newsletter or donate to our organization. Roughly, a community garden member pays about $120 a year, give or take, to support their plot. So if you're looking to support a family, a $120 donation will help cover the cost of water for a community plot. And just to help folks navigate through our website, this is what you'll see if you're trying to find a garden. So you'll see a lovely map of Los Angeles and all these markers showing you where your nearest community garden is. So if you visit our website, again, lagardencouncil.org, you'll figure out how to find a garden, how to start a garden, how and where to volunteer, and access to all our newsletters. Our newsletters offer sustainable tips, gardening tips, virtual workshops, in-person workshops. So it's very informative. And just to give a shout out to the community gardens in CD13, we have the East Hollywood Community Garden, the Elysian Valley Community Garden, Fountain Community Garden, Glassell Park Community Garden, Jardín del Rio Community Garden, Manzanita Community Garden, and Patton Street Community Garden. So there's beautiful amounts of gardens. So if you're looking for one in your area, these are the ones you're going to look for. And last but not least, please follow us on social media. We have our Instagram page, our Twitter page, and our Facebook page. Most of the time, we just share opportunities, facts, tips, what we're up to. So I encourage everyone to take a look at that. And that's about it. I want to thank the council member for allowing us to share this information. And we look forward to continued working with you.
Diana, thank you so much to you and the Community Garden Council and the board of this wonderful nonprofit, all the volunteers. We can't thank you enough, because what you do is you provide yet another healthy and nutritious option for healthy eating to our district. So I can't thank you enough. And I'm glad and grateful that you conveyed the healing properties of our community gardens. Just going out and working together, volunteering in one, getting your own plot, being outdoors is healthier now than ever before. It's where there's very low COVID transmission. And as we ease from the pandemic, I think community gardens are going to take on an all new importance in our lives. And they reduce the heat island effect in a city that has way too much pavement. Los Angeles is one of the most paved cities in the entire world. So I'm always looking for ways that we can remove cement and remove asphalt and plunk something green in its place. And the right, and the Community Garden Council, you do that by transforming some of these spaces into a green little Garden of Eden. So we love our neighborhood of community gardens brought by the Community Garden Council. And I've had so much fun participating in these and the creation of many of them, and we want more. So thank you so much. So everyone who's listening, what a panel. They all provided information with how you can get involved, how you can contribute, how you can support. So I would encourage everyone, we can all sort of meet this moment, and people need help getting through this pandemic, and that will ensure that we're all better off as a society once the pandemic eases. So thank you all so much. Now, I think that we're going to go to questions pretty soon, so let's hear what some of those questions are.
Councilman, our first question comes from a constituent in East Hollywood. How can we work with your office to advance pedestrian safety on Romaine Street and Normandy Avenue in East Hollywood? The crosswalk can be very dark at night, and we believe a pedestrian flashing signal could be a helpful addition.
Great question. I will say this, that pedestrian safety is my top transit priority. We've improved a lot of the pedestrian safety around our public schools, around public facilities, around major bustling intersections. So for starters, it's East Hollywood. Please contact my representative for East Hollywood, George Hakopians, at our field office, and he can work on those details with you. Take a look at the intersection and see what opportunities are there, and talk to you about what's involved in installing a yellow flashing beacon. So as Marisol said earlier, our field office phone number is 213-207-3015. George Hakopians, and he'll be glad to help you, meet you on site wearing a mask, socially distanced, to take a good close look at that, and we can go from there. I'm a real big believer in a neighborhood-based solution to improve your quality of life. So please do not hesitate to call George, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you, Councilman. Our next question comes from a constituent in Elysian Valley. What are you doing specifically to increase the number of multifamily units being built in your district for families living below $60,000?
So my mission in the production of housing is more permanent supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness and more covenanted, affordable housing for low-income residents. And we have produced over 2,000 of those units since I've been in office, with hundreds more. Just recently, we opened Metro Path Villas over there in the Westlake area, 186 units of permanent supportive housing that are mostly occupied now, and with nearly 100 temporary housing opportunities for people experiencing homelessness. We also recently opened the Rampart Mint, which is not too far from there. That's 22 units of permanent supportive housing. We have, over the years, most of the projects that folks see and they might look like luxury housing, call my office to get details, because most of those projects have low income, affordable, covenanted housing built into them. They're mixed income projects, and we do that wherever we can, wherever we have leverage, where the zoning allows. And so that is a mission of mine, to build a permanent supportive housing and affordable housing. Now we have under construction, just this morning before coming here, I was at the groundbreaking of the Hollywood Arts Collective, 151 units of covenanted affordable housing in the heart of Hollywood for artists. And I'm a big believer in the creative class here as well. And artists struggle, especially when they're getting started. So that's a collaboration between my office, the Actors Fund, and a nonprofit affordable housing developer. So I'm very excited about that. Enlightenment Plaza is coming also to the Beverly Boulevard corridor. That will be nearly 500 units of permanent supportive housing for people who are currently without a home. 500 units. We now have site control. So that project is moving forward. It will be moving forward in phases. Also, the Emerson Apartments in Koreatown will provide 38 units. That's approved under construction or in the pipeline. And then the Miramar Apartments, that's 135 units of low-income seniors in the Westlake area as well. So contact my office if you have any questions or specific ideas about projects, and we can give you the detail of them. There's a lot of activity in the 13th District with the way we evolve into the future. And covenanted affordable housing and permanent supportive housing is a non-negotiable with me in terms of the way we grow.
Councilman, this will be our last question of this edition of Council Member in Your Corner. We're excited to hear about the second round of small business funding. What other steps are being taken to help our struggling businesses in the 13th District?
That's a great question, and I hope that if you own a business, you will apply and take advantage of that $5,000 grant that we're offering. We've done so much during the pandemic. Fairly early on, I introduced an ordinance that was approved unanimously that limits the amount a delivery app company can charge for a takeout or delivery. Our restaurants were getting fleeced. Some of these delivery apps were charging 30 up to 40% per order. So the customer was paying too much and the restaurants were paying too much and suffering. These are venture capitalist and Wall Street funded companies. We do not need to be subsidizing them. So that ordinance is in place, and I recently, just yesterday, introduced a resolution to support a statewide law that pegs the exact same limits on delivery app companies. So I'm a big believer in supporting our small business community and will completely stay engaged in that. I'm a big supporter of the Alfresco Dining program. We've helped dozens and dozens of restaurants in the 13th District with that. And as we come out of the pandemic, we want to see more outdoor dining, and I want a permanent solution into making it easier for small businesses to get permitted from county health and from the city departments that provide those permits. And I think that's it. Everyone who did leave a question, they will all be answered. So if you left a question on the Facebook platform, your questions will be answered. Please utilize the resources of my office. I can't thank the panelists enough for what you do. Please, if you have questions, log on to cd13.com. And again, do all you can to help us combat food insecurity. I hope everyone will reach out and support these organizations here and across the city. Your support is one way you can help meet this moment that requires us all to do what we can. I especially want to thank the crew here at this city's Channel 35 studios for making this day possible. So please do sign up for my weekly newsletter, cd13.com. It's a real resource for folks, and I can't tell you enough. We put out lots of information multiple times per week so you can stay informed about what we're doing, and if you have questions, let us know what those questions are. And you'll also find information about our next council member in your corner by logging on to cd13.com. Thanks again so much, everyone. Be safe out there, and may God bless.